And welcome to a new episode of Women of Community Banking podcast. I've got Youssi with me, joining us from the beautiful state of Oklahoma, right? She is a CFO of WEOKIE Federal Credit Union. Youssi, firstly, thank you for joining us, right? We really appreciate the time you're spending with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Anurag. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Absolute pleasure is all ours. So, how are things at your end? All good?
Yeah, it's all great. Yeah, thank you so much.
We are almost Friday, guys. We're almost Friday, and Youssi is almost about to end her Friday and dive on to the weekend. Same for me. Just waiting for the weekend to come over. We are almost there. A couple of few hours before we walk through Friday, right? So that's where we are right now. So Youssi has a very interesting background, a very similar immigrant story like mine. I came from India. Youssi came from Egypt. So Youssi, why don't you talk about your journey a bit? It's so motivating, so inspiring. You came from Egypt, started as a teller, and now you're a CFO of a credit union. We are so proud of you. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, thank you so much. I was born and raised in Egypt. I'm the youngest of 5 kids for incredible, hardworking parents.
Sure.
Who honestly set the bar so high. My mom was a high school principal and my dad was a CFO, and he also owned his own construction company. I earned my undergraduate degree in business administration back in Egypt. I had my master's degree from Poitiers University. It's a French school. My journey was truly, I would say, shaped by the ability to adapt quickly and resilience overall, moving across different countries and cultures at a very early stage of my life give me a broader perspective on people, leadership, and businesses. So when I came here to the United States with my husband and my son, we were deeply inspired by the opportunities that are available here, especially the ability to through hard work and service and having a growth mentality overall. Both my husband and I chose the corporate and leadership route, which is not very common for first generation immigrants. But we truly wanted to become part of the community and learn the culture and contribute in any way possible. What drew me to community banking and credit unions was the deep connection they had with the community overall. It is different than many other industries, I'll tell you that. These institutions are not just about the numbers, but rather how these numbers affect people's lives. So decisions are truly made on a human level, and which is truly meaningful to me.
Firstly, sorry that I had to just open the door because someone was knocking on my hotel my room door for me to check out. Sorry about that. But coming to your story, Youssi, right? This is so relatable. Even my mother was a principal, right, in a school. I mean, like all immigrant kids, we came to the country and you started from scratch and grew to become a CFO. That journey is so motivating. I mean, in case you do not know, you should know that for any immigrant kid, this is so motivating, right? So what you've done, you possibly can't comprehend, right? How difficult was it? But we can comprehend and we are so proud of you. You should always know that in the world, if there are a couple of people who are proud about you, it's about us. It's for sure, one of them will be us. So congratulations on whatever you have achieved so far.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You talked about that, yeah, community banking is not just balance sheet. Community banking is not just EPS. Community banking is not just profitability or EBIT, for lack of better words, right?
Yes.
You've been a CFO both at a community bank earlier and now at a credit union, right? So what actually drew you to community focused institution, right? And what do you think is the difference between community FIs and normal FIs? Obviously, you spoke about it a bit, but do you want to double click on that and talk about it a bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So what attracted me to both community banks and credit unions was the mission-driven nature of the work. In very large institutions, decisions can sometimes feel disconnected from the people that they ultimately affect. This is not the case for community-focused institutions.
Yeah.
You see the direct impact on the families, small businesses, employees, and the whole community that you serve. There are many common grounds, I would tell you, between community banks and credit unions, but there are some important differences. So community banks are shareholders owned and focused, while credit unions operate under a cooperative model where the members are the owners, is truly fundamentally changes the lens through which decisions are made. At a credit union, there is a very strong focus on member value and how to build long-term relationships. We do not measure success only by how profitable we are, but we are also looking at how well we serve the members and improve their financial wellness overall. One thing I especially appreciate about credit unions is the ability to balance financial discipline with a strong service-oriented mission overall. At WEOKIE, I'm very proud of our mission. Our mission is changing lives in our community, one person at a time, by being the best place our employees have ever worked and our members have ever banked. And we get to do that every single day. Again, you still have to make prudent decisions, go back to the basics of the business, but you also get to focus on the mission and make that the center of the conversation overall.
That's what makes it so unique, right? I mean, credit unions are so special. That's the reason. It's not easy to do this every single day. It's not easy. Living that mission every single day, every single month of the year, not easy. So moving on to what do I say? A theme of women of community banking, because this podcast is about for honoring women leaders, right? So banking C-suite is pretty much male dominated, right? I mean, now obviously credit union C-suites have a few women, but still it's a long way. So, I mean, what I tell is a female CFO and a female CIO, both are unicorns because it's very difficult to find, right? So how did you end up being a CFO? I mean, what are the challenges you faced being a CFO and being a women leader who wanted to become a CFO, for lack of better words?
Well, there were definitely moments where I had to work harder to prove myself, especially as, again, a first generation immigrant entering executive leadership in banking. It was definitely hard. I'm incredibly grateful for great leaders throughout my career who believed in me and provided me with opportunity. And early in my career, I realized very quickly that credibility is built through consistent, I would say, results-driven performance and discipline as well. At the same time, I honestly do not think I spent much time focusing on challenges, but I tried to focus more on the opportunities. And this was such a shift in mentality and an advice that I find myself giving to a lot of my team members today. I had to focus heavily and invest in education, professional development, truly understand the business beyond the accounting. All of that just increased the credibility throughout my career. Another thing I'll tell you, Anurag, is that I also learned early on the importance of staying authentic. I had many people tell me that leadership had to look a certain way. And if I need to achieve a certain level of success, I need to be a certain way. But instead of trying to fit a mold, I focused on leading with discipline and empathy. I have always told my husband that if there is no example to follow or be inspired with, then I'll become the example. Today, I share openly with my team where I started, what the challenges I faced, and whether it was a language barrier, cultural barrier, or even age barrier. I want them to know that growth is possible, and if I was able to do it, they can definitely do it as well.
100%. I mean, I think being authentic is the most important thing. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you do, but people really value authenticity. Even I've understood in the last 3 years, 3.5 years, 4 years of doing this role, people only want to work with people who are good and authentic. Being that superficial that I am in leadership, no one really cares. Things have completely changed.
Yeah, and Anurag, I'll tell you one more thing that I learned through the years is leadership is truly not about being the loudest voice in the room, but how to be a leader who brings trust and stability to the team. You know, there are people who can create chaos and mistrust within the teams. And I promised myself that I will be a different leader and bring stability and trust to others.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, you also have family, right? You're a CFO, but you're a mother, you're a wife, and you're a first gen immigrant, right? What's one piece of advice you see that has helped you carry all those roles together? Because it's a lot, right? It's a lot doing all of them together.
Yeah, one advice I share with my team is to focus on purpose rather than perfection overall. There is no perfect balance every single day, but how to balance the leadership responsibilities, family, and personal growth. Some days your career will demand more from you, and some other days family does. I have a partner in my husband. He truly helped me throughout my career, and how we can both focus on our careers and our family and shift that focus when needed and not focus on being perfect. I also carry a deep sense of gratitude, Anurag. As a first generation immigrant, my husband and I often talk about how many opportunities exist in this country that are simply not accessible in many other parts of the world. And I also carry a lot of gratitude to leaders that I met and worked with in my career. That perspective keeps me grounded truly and reminds me not to take opportunity, education, and relationship for granted.
Definitely, we should be, better words, fortunate, right? Fortunate that you've been able to lead this life, right? And a lot of people outside this country are not able to, right? So that's like without a question. Now, shifting some gears, right? Now, obviously, technology has, I would say, disrupted the ecosystem, right, in the last 10 years for sure. So you've seen that disruption coming along because you started as a credit analyst and then eventually grew to becoming a CFO, right? Plus, you have a technical background, right? It's not like you do not have a technical background. So, how has technology changed the CFO role now versus when you started 10 years, 11 years back?
Well, I would say that technology has transformed the CFO role from being primarily focused on historical reporting and data to now being a lot more strategic and forward-looking leadership position. So early in my career, accounting and finance team would focus on and spend a lot of time gathering data, reconciling information manually, and producing reports. Today, technology allows us to truly access information in real time. It's a lot faster and more efficient and focus more on analysis and truly telling the story behind the numbers and how we can use these numbers to make decisions and build strategy. The role of CFO today is much more dynamic than how it was just a few years ago. You are expected to understand data analytics and cybersecurity and understand truly the full picture of the business and how to prevent fraud and how to be operationally efficient, not only understanding accounting and the financial statements. Also, technology had changed members' expectations a lot. So members are now expecting speed, convenience, and everything to be personalized. Having digital access is important. It's truly shaping the whole industry and how people are doing or how people are banking.
So that was a very well summed up response, I would say, right? You almost touched upon every single thing. Reconciliation was manual, maybe a VLOOKUP. 4 years back, now it's being automated with multiple algorithms or even AI coming in. You can pretty much use Claude for reconciliation, right? So things are completely changing very quick. So you see, one last question, right, is you help build a herd on herd into a community event in Edmond, right, where you are based right now. Actually, Edmond was somewhere where you're based earlier. Now you're in Oklahoma City. What did that teach you about a banker's role just beyond the numbers? I mean, how did that have an impact on you?
So, Herd on Herd is a great example of the effort where truly a team can come together and change the community. And that was during my time at Citizens Bank of Edmond. And the team came together every month to build Herd on Herd. And it was a reflection of how direct you can have an impact on the community. And I always share that it made me and my husband feel home when we moved to Oklahoma, this event in downtown Edmond. So I believe one key is to understand that people helping people philosophy and also have some financial strength are not competing priorities overall, but rather they support each other. And that is truly through doing work back to the community, something like Herd on Herd. And we have similar event on the credit union side, is Credit Union in the Park that WEOKIE is part of and lead. So having these community events truly get us connected with the people at a whole new level. And it gets us back to the fact that we can still be very impactful in the community and run business very well financially as well.
So you see, this was such a good conversation, such a relatable conversation that I had with another fellow immigrant, right? So I can't thank you enough for agreeing to do this with us and sharing your journey, you coming to the country with kids again, then going back to graduate school, starting from scratch and then building up. Incredible journey, right? So firstly, we are really proud and thank you for spending your time today with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Anurag. It was a pleasure to be here today.
Pleasure.